On September 11, 2001, the world was given a hero, Dr. Sneha Ann Phillip. When the towers fell, her family and the city were certain she had charged into the inferno, a selfless first responder swallowed by the smoke and ash. But as investigators picked through the ruins of her life, they uncovered a story that wasn't about a hero. It was about a secret life, a locked suitcase, and a meticulously planned disappearance. If Dr. Phillip didn't die in the rubble, did she use America's darkest day to stage the perfect escape? The night before the world changed, on September 10th, Dr. Sneha Phillip vanished. After a punishing 18-hour shift, she shed her blood-flecked scrubs, kissed her husband goodbye, and walked out of their apartment, saying she was meeting a cousin. The last recorded image of her is from a security camera at 9:16 p.m. inside a department store just blocks from the World Trade Center. She bought a single copper saucepan, paid with cash, and refused the receipt. Then she stepped through the revolving doors and was erased by the city night. No phone calls, no credit card pings. Her husband, Ron, awoke the next morning to an empty bed and the North Tower ablaze on his TV. In the chaos that followed, one missing woman felt like just another casualty of a day of endless loss. Ron and Sneha's family gathered in their Battery Park apartment, the city shrouded in dust outside their window. They clutched her stethoscope like a holy relic, convinced she was out there, somewhere in the wreckage, a ghost in scrubs tending to the wounded. They created a narrative of heroism, plastering flyers with her face, calm, steady, professional, across every makeshift morgue and chapel. They prayed she was among the unidentified victims, that her sacrifice had simply been too absolute to leave a trace. But weeks bled into agonizing months, and her name never surfaced. Just when their hope had curdled into grief, the NYPD Cold Case Squad arrived with a story that would incinerate the heroic memory they had built. If you think you know where this is going, you're wrong. Subscribe now, because the truth is darker than the fiction. A detective sergeant named Joe O'Donnell broke the case open. He discovered the polished image of the Phillips marriage was a lie, concealing nightly brawls over money and alcohol. In the basement of their building, he found a locked suitcase. Inside was a second passport, $8,400 in sequential bills, glasses she was never seen wearing, and a key card to the Marriott World Trade Center that had expired just a week before she disappeared. Her work computer revealed a secret life lived under the alias Ann Phillips, a life filled with intimate, wine-soaked emails to a woman in another state. "Need somewhere warm, somewhere quiet," one read. An unsent draft to her husband was even more chilling. "I can't keep stitching other people together while I'm falling apart." Her supervisor admitted Sneha had been suspended twice for operating while intoxicated, once stitching a child's head wound with a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit. Her colleagues spoke of a brilliant doctor haunted by demons, a woman who hid empty liquor bottles behind sterile gauze pads. She was a 9/11's hero. This is the story her family clings to. With over 1,000 victims never identified, the absence of her DNA proves nothing. She could have been vaporized in an instant, answering a call to duty. B. She engineered her own disappearance. The suitcase was an escape kit. The cash, the alias, the secret correspondence, all point to a meticulously planned exit. She could have slipped onto a train as the city descended into chaos, vanishing forever. C. She was the victim of a violent crime. But there was no sign of a struggle, no life insurance policy, and her husband had an ironclad alibi. This theory leads nowhere, a dark, empty room in the maze of her life. D. She took her own life. The Marriott key was never used for a tryst. At 1:14 a.m. on September 11th, just hours before the attacks, her computer was used for a single search: bridge jump. Any body in the Hudson that morning would have been pulled out into the vast, unforgiving Atlantic by nightfall. In 2008, a judge officially denied that Sneha had died on 9/11s, refusing to issue a death certificate. 2 years later, a higher court overturned the ruling, formally naming her the 2,751st victim of the attacks, a decision that gave her family access to the Victim Compensation Fund but offered no real closure. Detective O'Donnell retired, but the case never left him. "It looked staged," he confessed. like someone wanted us to believe in Plan B. Officially, the NYPD file on Dr. Sneha and Philip remains open, but the trail went cold more than a decade ago. In a quiet house in Queens, Sneha's mother still lights a candle for her daughter every night. On the anniversary of her disappearance, she sets an extra place at the dinner table. If she ran, she had her reasons, her mother says. But if she's gone, I want her remembered as the girl who wanted to heal the world, not the one who got lost. So who was Dr. Sneha and Philip? A hero who ran toward the fire, or a tormented woman who saw a nation's tragedy as her only way out? Did she die saving others, or did she meticulously craft a new life from the ashes of an old one? We are left with two ghosts, the hero and the runaway. And the terrifying truth is, we may never know which one is real. Drop your theory in the comments. Every speculation is a refusal to let her story be buried.